good afternoon, everyone, or morning, evening, depending on where you guys live and at what time you guys are watching. All I can say is sorry about not being around for like 8 months, I think it was. I think just, you know, stuff happened, COVID and all that, and I just got sidetracked and I had to do other things, but I'm back, hopefully for good this time. I plan on, I picked up a few more series that I'm wanting to watch, so hopefully we can get into those, but as for right now, this is going to be my reaction to episode 3 of My Hero Academia. The last time we were I had to rewatch the episodes because it's been so long. So we watched episode 1 and episode 2, and we had Midoriya, right? Yeah, Midoriya as our main character, and he just got saved by All Might, his idol, the person that he looked up to, this hero, and he too wants to become a hero like All Might. However, the dilemma is that he has no powers. And at first, All Might, after being asked the question from Midoriya, whether or not he could become a hero without any quirks, All Might was like, it's not realistic, right? He turned him down, which was surprising to me. He was like, no, I don't think you can become a hero. You know, you can become a police officer or something else, but realistically speaking, you can't. And then after seeing Midoriya go in and save Katsuki, he changed his mind and said, yes, you can become a hero in a very cool fashion with a really cool art style at the end there, which I remember very clearly. It really it left a sort of impact on me or something. But with all the light coming down and illuminating the background and stuff like that, that was a really cool scene. But yeah, we're gonna have to go from there. We were left off not knowing, how Midoriya was going to become a hero. He has no powers, so we don't know what their plan is, but I'm assuming we'll see. So let's get right into the reaction. It's cool that his very existence was like a deterrent to crime kind of thing. Inherit his power. I mean, I'm assuming he's speaking literally. I mean, man, All Might's dying as he's saying these things. Like, what's going on? Implying that he is not. Oh, so people don't even know his quirk. Oh, that's some sick imagery. I like those colors too. Well, that's crazy. So he can pass on power. So just strength. That's why he has his super strength. I mean, there's no way he would turn that down anyways. I see. So he's gotta work out and build some muscle. Yeah. Just dented that fridge. Oh man. That's a lot of trash. On my rewatch, I remember seeing the like American flag or something in the background of his one of his poses. And I'm wondering, he said his American plan or whatever. I wonder if he's supposedly from America or something. He's going into this mode every once in a while. They have this visual for it too, where he starts muttering to himself. Wow, people are so mean spirited. Come on. Oh, I was spitting up blood again in the background of that. Surprised my man hasn't died of blood loss. Also, he's working too hard. Come. Yeah. Write that down. That was a cool moment to show Midoriya's character kind of. That's good to see his improvement. I saw her in the opening. Didn't actually talk. I wonder what her quirk was. She kind of like stopped him midair. He's always fanboying over the heroes. Look at this dude's hair too. So they split him up. Trying to examine them individually or without teamwork. That's cool. The Sutra. See how he already ate so he already ate the hair or whatever, so I'm wondering like does he like get the power right away or how does he like for example like he slapped himself in the face right there like obviously he doesn't have All Might's power there or whatever, like how does he kind of control it? Does he like activate it or like does he not have the full strength right away and it has to gradually come to him? Just wondering. It's interesting. Alrighty, so on to the discussion. I'm instead of going point by point, kind of like how I did the other two, I'm gonna kind of just go with an overall kind of rundown of what we learned and stuff like that, and little things to discuss about, because I don't really have like definitive points that are like separated into categories this time. There's a lot of it kind of mixed together, so I'm really looking for a more go with the flow kind of feel on this one. But yeah, so right off the bat, we got hit with All Might's power, and All Might's power is very important because this changes a whole bunch of things that we were discussing last episode, and kind of the beginning of this episode was, how is Midoriya going to become a hero, right? And I remember last time we were discussing about whether he was just going to use gadgets or something, or his notebooks, for example. But instead, it looks like All Might's power is a power that can be transferred to another person. Now, I'm assuming he described it as like a torch, the passing of the torch. So once he passes this power on, he loses this power? I'm not sure. That most likely won't be the case, because it just wouldn't be smart. Why would he passed it on through the hair or whatever that he told Midoriya to eat. So there would be no way that All Might would just lose his power then. Otherwise, all his responsibilities that he had were just pushed onto Midoriya, if he lost his power. If All Might lost his power, that'd be just terrible. So I'm assuming it's something like, it could be like he grants a portion of his power, or like maybe All Might doesn't lose his power right away, but he will lose it eventually, I'm assuming, something like that. But yeah, this does change. It does change a lot of things. Because I thought Midoriya was going to be like completely powerless, right? He was going to be completely powerless. He was going to go in there and have to like, I don't know, use his smarts or something, use his brain. And even though it wasn't something I was expecting, this is very cool too. It is interesting. I'm curious as to how the mechanics of it work and things like that. And it's cool to see that even if he is receiving some sort of blessing, he has to work for it. And we can see that through the training that he has to do, right? He can't just achieve or gain this power and just use it. He has to be able to handle it. As All Might said, if he's not a worthy vessel, or if he doesn't, become strong enough to withstand its power, he's just gonna literally blow up. So it's cool to see him have to work for it to even be granted use of it. We can move on to the training portion of this episode, and there were a few things in there that were really, really cool. They were kind of small things, but I felt that they were really important to kind of see who Midoriya is as a person, as a character. And one of them was they both relate to each other, but one of them is the overworking part of the training, where Midoriya collapses. All Might's like, hey, what are you doing? You can't be collapsing from just this much. You have to do a lot more in order to get this power and become a hero, because you're powerless. And it was actually the opposite, where Midoriya was overworking and he wasn't sticking to the schedule, right? The reason why Midoriya was overworking, it really shows a sort of strength in his character. It could be partially a weakness too, because he's not thinking overall. He's thinking long-term, but also not thinking long-term, right? So there's a way where he's thinking super long-term, which is really cool. And it's that, it's like, you can't get into this school if you don't work hard, right? And Midoriya is like, I'm not trying to just get into this school, right? I'm trying to become you, All Might. So I can't just settle at being a good hero. He has to be the best, right? He's not looking at just like, well, can I just become a hero and, without a power or whatever? No, he's trying to say, can I become the best without a power? Which is really, really cool, I think, because it shows that he's not just thinking about, I just want to at least become a hero. No, he's thinking like, I have a dream, right? And I look up to All Might, and that's who I want to be, right? And he's not, like I said, he's not just settling for becoming any old hero. He's looking really far ahead. And so, you know, when All Might's like, oh, you know, you got to stick to the plan. You're just overworking yourself. You can't be, you know, doing this. Midoriya's like, I know what I have to do, right? I have to work harder because I can't just work, you know, normally. I can't just work normally, and I can't just work a little harder than most people. He has to work super hard because his goal is so lofty. And in that way, he is thinking ahead, right? He's thinking long term. But he's also not thinking ahead in the long term because by doing this, he could potentially injure himself, right? He could potentially, you know, damage himself beyond even, you know, natural repair, which would just destroy everything, right? It would make his dream impossible at this point. I mean, at this point, it almost seems, of course, it is possible now because of his power, but if he overworks himself and injures himself, the odds against him will grow. And so in that sense, he's not looking long term, right? He's only looking at, I have to do this. It's not smart. It's not smart in a sense. And so it's good of All Might to catch this, and it's lucky that Midoriya collapsed when All Might was there, right? So that All Might can understand this and say, okay, well, here's a smarter way we can go about this, right? You want to work extra hard because you want to beat me, right? And so we can go and change up the plan a bit. So I thought that was pretty cool. And another time that you see this kind of like overachieving side of Midoriya is after he finishes training, right? And All Might looks and says, you didn't just clean up the part that, you know, I asked you to or whatever. You cleaned up like everything, right? And to me, that's really cool. I think that sort of character trait in anybody, like an overachieving sort of a character, it shows that it's like he knows that he can't just, you know, be good. He has to be the best. And so it really says a lot about who Midoriya is as a person, you know. Another thing I liked was the fact that they took a picture of him beforehand and then after. That's always really cool because, you know, it gives you this sort of motivation because you can see there's a very clear difference between now and before. You know, I thought that was a little thing that was pretty cool. I am wondering, one thing is that since it's passed on through DNA or whatever, and All Might just plucked a hair out of his head and said, here, eat this, you can get my power. I'm wondering if, like, can anybody just like grab his hair and become All Might? You know, I have no idea. That seems like a very crucial, you know, aspect of this power is like, can someone just steal your power like that? But I'm wondering if they'll clear that up in the future or not, because that's a very big thing, I think. And the last thing I want to bring up is kind of just like, we see Midoriya still, and he's still Midoriya, right? Even after gaining this power, he's still Midoriya. He's still, you know, he starts to tear up a lot, and he's afraid of Katsuki still, and he's got that dorky sort of mentality to him. And at the end there, we see him as his, you know, his nervous self. He's nervous, which is, you know, understandable, especially considering his character and, you know, kind of how he is and things like that. He hasn't kind of, he has grown a little bit, but he has yet to kind of change himself. He's not fully there yet. And so it's cool to see that he still has some weaknesses about him. And I'm looking forward to moments in time when he grows and he has the confidence in himself and things like that. And so overall, just I think a solid episode. It was a solid episode. This episode didn't have any super, you know, emotional moments or anything like that, but it is a solid episode that kind of bridges the gap between you know, his start and his kind of journey. It's like the beginning of his of his journey. So I really like that. And I'd have to say the best moment of this episode is just seeing who, those little kind of moments where we can kind of get a glimpse of who Midoriya is as a person. And it seems to be he is an overachiever. So I'm really looking forward to like kind of like who he grows into. That's going to be really cool. You know, always seeing the progression of characters and things. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have for today. I think I'll have the next episode up on, depends, I'm looking at Tuesdays and Thursdays. I might do like 2 episodes on Thursday just because I'm like so far behind and things like that. I don't know when the new season's coming out. I know there's like a new season coming out or something, but yeah, we'll see. I'll have to see. I'll get a more orderly schedule later. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you do feel generous and things, please do leave a like. If there's anything I could do better or things like that, you know, leave a comment. And if there's any shows you want me to watch, you know, leave a comment and things. I think I'm going to be picking up another show soon, but yeah, any feedback is always appreciated. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.